decided that my project goal would be to create some sort of positive force in the gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender community in Central Ohio. Since I've mainly been involved with this community on a very local scale, I decided to broaden my reach to GLBT youth all over Columbus. Last school year, my friend Tyler Wood and I founded Reynoldsburg High's Gay Straight Alliance. We organized various events like teacher workshops, a huge Day of Silence event, and a survey of 500 students on attitudes towards homosexuality. It was a great experience, and I still love my GSA. I decided to expand on this project as my Life of Meaning project. Mickey Weems had been my comparative religion professor, and he was very well versed in the history of homosexuality and religion and the spirituality of queer rave culture. I invited him to a meeting to speak to the GSA, and he was very impressed. He invited me to choose a few members to speak at a conference he was organizing called Qualia. Last May, Qualia drew GLBT academics and activists from all over the country. 3 other members and I served on a Q&A panel about our experiences in high school and with our GSA, and the reaction surprised me. Of 30 or so GLBT activists there, no one had ever collaborated with the GSA, and some weren't even aware of their existence. Earlier this year, my friend Tyler called and asked me to talk to his friend Megan, who was trying to start a GSA at Watkins Memorial High. Watkins has an even more conservative administration than RHS does, and I didn't really know how to help her. I only had experience with RHS's administration, so it was really difficult to help her with her mission statement. My idea for the Life of Meaning project centered around these 2 ideas. 1. How could Franklin County GSAs gain visibility in the GLBT community? And 2. How could we create a support network for newer struggling GSAs? I decided to form a group of local GSA presidents from all over Central Ohio. But what should I call the group? The Queer Contingency, the Gay Confederation, the Traditional American Family Values and Patriotism Association of Westboro Baptist Church? I felt that the last one might cause a little bit of confusion, so I decided on Synergy. Through friends and a few desperate Facebook group searches, I got into contact with Shreya Matthews from Dublin Kaufman's GSA, Katie Daniels from Hilliard Davidson, and Leah Finkelman from Granville. Everyone I contacted was enthusiastic, and a few said they had thought about trying something similar before. With me, Tyler, and Megan representing Reynoldsburg, Acton, and Watkins, we had a pretty good cross-section of local highs. But where to hold our first meeting? My first thought was Urban Spirit Coffee House. They're extremely GLBT friendly, and they have a great loft space that nonprofit or volunteer groups can rent at like $10 an hour. Unfortunately, the cafe is a little bit difficult to find if you're not in that part of Columbus very often, and they could only fit us in for about an hour on the evening we wanted. I decided to check with the Stonewall Center. Stonewall is a huge pillar in Central Ohio's GLBT community, and they host meetings for nearly 100 organizations. I had met their events coordinator, Susie, at Qualia last year, and they have a great space that was relatively central to everyone who was going to be attending. I called Susie and left her a message asking whether the center was busy during the time slot we wanted. After a few rounds of phone tag, she got back to me and told me that we could have a Stonewall loft space for as long as we needed. She was really excited about my project and told me that when we decided when and how often we'd be meeting, we could sign up for a recurring spot on Stonewall's calendar. The agenda for the first meeting was my biggest struggle in this project. Throwing together a group of people with such strong personalities was nerve-wracking because I didn't want to step on anyone's toes but needed to appear organized and passionate about the group. I decided on a rough outline of what I'd like to get done and a few examples of things that Reynoldsburg's GSA had done. I invited every GSA president to do the same thing. At the meeting, one of the first things we realized that we were all basically from the districts that form the upper arc of Central Ohio. Charlie, one of the co-presidents from Granville, suggested that one of our first objectives should be outreach to other school districts, especially Columbus Public Schools. We also spoke about our motivations for starting our GSAs, and it was interesting to see what directions other groups had gone in. We talked about what kind of events we had planned, and I think it really helped Megan out in kind of focusing on the direction that she wanted to take her GSA in at Watkins. I had been working on a proto-page website, and we decided that since we were all in contact and had so few members, the website wasn't really necessary at this point. We agreed to stay in contact through Facebook and our email list, and direct new potential members to either Leah, co-president from Granville, or me. We discussed our past experiences with Day of Silence, a nationwide protest in which people take day-long oaths of silence to show solidarity with GLBT people who are closeted or harassed because of their orientation. We decided that a breaking the silence ceremony, which is essentially a formal group discussion after school or work on the Day of Silence, would be a great excuse to get our GSAs together. The next day, Zoe Castro, a local activist who is organizing the Teen Stage at Pride Fest this summer, called me and asked me to relay forms for volunteer efforts and plan poetry presentations to, quote, the other members of Synergy. It was really cool to hear the group referred to by someone who had heard about it through Stonewall. The other GSA leaders and I invited our members to meet up at the Wex this weekend to see a documentary called Straight Laced. It's part of the Out at Wex Film Festival, and we thought that it would be a great opportunity to network with other GLBT community members. We're also planning a meeting with some team leaders at Kaleidoscope, which is a gay youth center in Columbus, to coordinate some events and possibly collaborate with some of their activism groups. I think it'll be a great way to get our faces and the organizations out there into the greater GLBT community because Kaleidoscope is so established already. I think that my project has made everyone in the group better able to run their individual GSAs. I think it's also made me a lot more aware of some of the community resources that are out there in the GLBT community. I think it'll make me a better GSA leader and a better activist and certainly a better community organizer.